Last time we were discussing about the second Arya Vasa, and that is to be depend on the four supports. Among those four supports, we have already discussed about the first one, that is using the basic necessities, contemplating wisely. With wise contemplation, we have to use or consume the four basic necessities, because without those four basic necessities, it is hard to survive, it is hard to live. And in order to practice meditation, those four basic necessities are very important. So that is why we have to consume them. But while consuming those four basic necessities, in order to not to be attached to them, or in order to reduce, in order to lessen the attachment on those four basic necessities, we have to consume them contemplating wisely. So this is what we discussed last time, and we have just started the second support, and that is the contemplating wisely. We have to endure, or we have to develop the patience, and that is what we are going to talk today. The second support to depend on is the forbearance. We call it in Pali Khanti. You may have heard about the 10 parameters, the 10 perfections, and Khanti is one of the 10 perfections. We call Khanti Parami. However, here the forbearance, endurance is Khanti, and Khanti is needed. Forbearance is needed in order to develop the wound protection. Khanti is very important, not only during the practice, but in our daily life also. That's why I would like to talk the nature of the Khanti, the function, the manifestation, and the proximate cause of the Khanti. Lack of Khanti, the conflict or the fighting arise, like conflicting with friends, conflicting with the family members, even with brother and sisters, conflicting with neighbors, conflicting with relatives. Why conflicts arise, why the fighting happens is due to the lack of the Khanti forbearance or patience. So that is why it is very important in our lives. So that is why we are going to take some time to discuss about the Khanti. Characteristics or nature of Khanti is enduring or forbearing. In Pali, it is called Kamana Lakhana. I repeat, Kamana Lakhana, enduring or forbearing. Since it has the characteristics of enduring, Hence, it tolerates everything, pleasant and unpleasant objects, pleasant and unpleasant phenomena. So this is the function of the khanti, tolerating pleasant and unpleasant phenomena. We have to make a bold note that khanti does not forbears only unpleasant object, but also pleasing object as well. Generally, we think that the function of the khanti is to forbear the unpleasant objects or disliking objects or in sufferings or pain. But in reality, it is not so. The khanti tolerates against the pleasant objects as well. In our life, we face pleasant and unpleasant objects, good and bad, liking and disliking. There are ups and downs of fears are there in our life. So in both cases, in both situations, in both issues, the khanti applies, the khanti works. So we shouldn't be overwhelmed by the pleasurable objects or the experiences. That is also the function of the khanti. Not only tolerating the unpleasant object, but we have to also tolerate. And tolerating means not reacting, not being overwhelmed by the pleasurable object as well. When we have khanti, patience, we do not react badly to both kinds of phenomena, pleasant and unpleasant. Hence, khanti manifests as the factor which accepts everything, which let happen upon you, good or bad. It let happen everything on you, whether it is good thing or whether it is bad thing, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant. Whatever happening, khanti let happen on you, or that means it accepts everything. So accepting is the manifestation of the khanti. For example, if someone is behaving you badly by verbally or by action, at that time, if you have khanti patience, then as its function, it endures, it tolerates it. And as a manifestation, you will not react anything to him or her. You will accept everything. Whatever he is saying, he or she is saying, you just accept. You just let happen. Or you just let do or say whatever he or she is saying or doing. So that is the manifestation. The khanti patience let happen on you whatever good or bad things happening with you. As the khanti is not reacting, so as the khanti is accepting everything, that means it is not reacting. It is not reacting anything. So that is why the second manifestation of the khanti is not reacting, not going against with the things which is happening with you, whether it is good thing, whether it is bad thing. So the second manifestation is not reacting. It is quite obvious when we practice meditation, when unpleasant sensations arise, and if we have patience we do not react to that unpleasant sensation, we accept. We are not reacting anything, neither we are reacting bodily nor mentally. We accept, we let happen. The unpleasant sensation may be all over the body at times. So it is quite obvious when we are practicing meditation. Here I must let you know about the manifestation. The manifestation means the demonstration or the way a yogi or the practitioner realize about the khanti, that is called manifestation. So here how a yogi or the practitioner realizes about the khanti is, oh, because of the khanti, or because of patience that I have. Due to that patience, I am not reacting to the unpleasant sensation. I am accepting whatever happening inside my body. Pleasant objects are there, unpleasant objects are there. Of course, unpleasant objects are mostly there, but still I'm just observing the object. Neither my body is reacting nor my mind is reacting. My mind is just accepting all the things happening during the practice. This is how the a yogi realizes about the khanti, the patience. And the proximate cause or the nearest cause of developing khanti is discovering the things as they really exist. Or we can say that knowing the reality of the object. That is the proximate cause. When we come to know the true nature, the reality of the objects, the things, they really exist. So at that time, it is the khanti develops, the khanti, the patience develops. In the meditation, when unpleasant objects, phenomena arises, it is quite difficult to forbear or endure. So far, we come to see the reality of the unpleasant sensations. Until we come to see the impermanence and the suffering, the non-selfness of that unpleasant sensation, it is quite difficult to forbear. But as we come to see the rapid arising and the passing away of the unpleasant sensations, as we come to see the suffering of the unpleasant sensation, the dukkha, and as we come to see, discover the non-selflessness of the unpleasant sensations, it becomes really easy to endure or tolerate even the unpleasant sensation. So that is why seeing or discovering the reality of the object is the proximate cause to arise the khanti. Many of you may have experienced this reality while practicing meditation. Like at the beginning of the practice, it is not quite easy to tolerate the unpleasant sensations, because at the beginning we are quite unknown. We haven't known anything about the unpleasant sensations, its nature, the impermanence, the suffering and non-self of the unpleasant sensations. But as we keep going, and as we come to see the true natures of the unpleasant sensations, then it becomes quite easy to endure, to be patient, even though the very savory, unpleasant sensations arise. Not only about the not only about the unpleasant object, about the pleasant object also, because we have just mentioned this Khanti endures or accepts not only the unpleasant objects but pleasant objects also, means not reacting to the pleasant objects as well. So it is also quite obvious while practicing meditation, though there are many pleasant objects arising during the practice, when we come to see the true nature of the impermanent suffering and the non-self of those pleasant objects as well, then at that time we are not enjoying, we are not being forgetful, we are not being negligent, we are not being pamada, we are not being carelessness, or we are not being overwhelmed by those pleasant objects as well. We just keep noting. So that means we are accepting, we are not reacting even to the pleasant objects. So that is the nature of the Khanti. So that is why the proximate cause of the Khanti to arise is discovering the true nature of the object. In our daily lives also, we have seen, we have experienced a lot about this Khanti, the patience. Like those who do not have the patience, they react, they react very badly, even in minor cases, even in minor things. Even if somebody or someone is saying to him or her, not even like behaving so badly, not even saying so badly, he or she cannot tolerate it. He or she just gets angry very quickly and reacts immediately. That is because lack of the patience, Khanti, because Khanti is not functioning what it has to function. Accepting is lacking at that time. The manifestation of not reacting is lacking at that time. He or she is reacting quickly. Why he or she is reacting? Because he or she is not accepting that behavior which is coming to him or her. As a result, the conflict arises. Conflict, the fighting causes. So this is what happens between the friends, between the families, even sometimes between the wife and husband, between the relatives. So lack of the Khanti patience. So patience, the Khanti can be generated by practicing meditation, because by practicing meditation we come to know the true nature of the objects or the phenomena, the physical phenomena, the mental phenomena. Because by practicing meditation we develop mindfulness, sati, we develop concentration, samadhi, and wisdom. When we develop the wisdom, we come to see the true natures, characteristics of the all phenomena that exist in this universe. As a result, we become able to accept everything. The reaction will not be there, and that means we develops the Khanti patience. What are the things or the objects we may endure during the practice is Mostly the unpleasant sensations arising in our body, arising in mind as well, arising in mind as well, and sometimes the temperatures, the heat or the coolness. And another thing we may have to tolerate is the unpleasant sound, etc. There are extra many things to tolerate, but mostly the temperature, the heat or the coolness, the cold, and the unpleasant sounds or the voices, and mostly the unpleasant sensations arising in our body. At the beginning of the practice, you may not have the enough patience to tolerate the unpleasant sensations. But as we keep trying, to be patient, so slowly our forbearance or the patience develop, or patience develop. Maybe at the beginning, we may tolerate the unpleasant sensations for 5 minutes, but later it may become for 10 minutes, later 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, or for an hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours. In this way, the tolerance, the patience develops slowly, and you yourself will experience the amazingly the patience develops. And the development of the patient, you will realize, oh, at the beginning of the practice, I was not able to tolerate this much. I was not, I had no this much patience, but now I have. So in order to develop the patience in this way, we should make the determination from the very beginning of the practice. Like, I will be patient as much as I can, as long as I can, as possible as I can. I will not shift, or I will not change my posture. I will not move my legs as long as possible as I can. So in each and every sitting, that kind of determination is needed. I will develop my patience. I will develop my patience. So that kind of determination is needed. And if we work with our determination, then definitely slowly our patience will grow up. We have to make determination, and we have to work with the determination, because if we unless if we just change the posture whenever the unpleasant sensations arise, if we keep changing the posture frequently, then it will be quite hard to develop the patience. And in another hand, it will be difficult to develop the concentration, because we are changing, moving frequently. There is no even time to develop the concentration. And if concentration is not developed, then it is impossible to see the true nature of the object. We have just mentioned, to develop the patience, we have to see the objects as they really exist. We have to see the nature of the objects as they really have. So to discover that nature, we have to develop the concentration. And if no concentration, no discovering. And if no discovering, then no patience again. So that is also why we have to make determination and we have to work with determination. I'm talking about the determination because the another proximate cause of developing the khanti is to dispose our mind or to incline our mind to develop the khanti. Mind must be favorably like inclined to develop by reminding oneself like I must develop. I definitely will develop. I have to try hard. I have to try my best to develop the khanti patience. So that kind of inclination of the mind is needed. I will develop. I must develop. I definitely will develop because this patience is very necessary in life also in practice, and we have already mentioned last time patience leads to nibbana. So in order to attain nibbana, patience is needed. That is why we must incline our mind to develop the khanti, and that is the another proximate cause to develop the khanti. It is also very obvious in in our daily life also during the practice also. Like when we keep saying oneself in our daily life, like if somebody is like teasing you, if somebody is doing bad behavior to you regularly, and when you keep saying that, oh, I should not react, I should be patient, I should be patient, I should just accept, just ignore, don't care, don't react. If we keep saying oneself like that, because this is for development of the patient's country. If you are doing so, it is easy to develop the patience. Similarly, while practicing meditation also, if we keep saying oneself, reminding oneself, oh, whenever unpleasant sensations arise, I must forbear it, I must tolerate it, I should not change the object, I should develop the patience. So when we keep reminding again and again, then it becomes easier to develop the patience. So that is what we call inclining. Inclining. In Pali, it is called tadadi muttata. Tadadi muttata in Pali, inclining our mind, disposing our mind deliberately, effectively to develop the patience khanti. Okay, there are still many things to talk about the patience, how to develop patience during the practice. So we still have many talks to talk about this. So we will continue next time. But for today, as I just mentioned, by the inclination of your mind, if you want to develop the patience, khanti in your life, you have to inclination of the mind is needed. Like I have to be patient, I have to be patient everywhere, in good object also, in bad objects also. I have to be patient, I should not react, I should accept everything, because everything is impermanent suffering and non-self. Mm. When we practice meditation, then it would be quite easier to develop the patience. So by inclining the mind and by practicing as well, may you able to develop the patience, patience in good extent, so that you may so that you the patience that you have developed will lead you to nibbana, because the patience is very needed to attain the Nibbana. And by developing patience, may you be able to attain Nibbana very soon. Okay, let's share the merits. Idamme punyam
Idamme punyam
asavakayavaham
asawakayava
hotu.
hotu.
Idamme punyam
Idamme punyam
Nibbanasa
nibbanasa
pacayo
pacayo
hotu
hotu.
imano
Imano
punyambagang
punyabagang
sabasatanang
sabasatanang
vibhazema
vibhazema
sabe satta
sabe satta
imang punyambagang
imang punyabagang
labedwa
labedwa
sukhita
sukhita
bhavantu
bhavantu.
sadhu
Sadhu,
sadhu
sadhu.